Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's Facebook Live. Let me do one quick thing. My headphones look super wonky. I don't know why that is. Oh well. Alright, I just gotta put this here. Alright, so let's see if we can get some people on. And let me grab a couple things here. Alright, so I'm going to use my amethyst. I want to clear any and all negative energy around me, around this room, and around the dwelling where I live. I want to infuse a sacred white light circle around me, around my room, and the dwelling that I live. And hi there! Welcome to tonight's Facebook Live. I want to call on various archangels and guides. So I want to call on Archangel Michael, Archangel Ariel, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Zadkiel, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Azrael, Archangel Jophiel. I want to call on the Ascended Masters Hilarion, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, Buddha, Krishna, Parvati, Saraswati, and Ganesha. I want to call on my guides, my guardian angels. I want to call on all the guides and guardian angels of people watching live or on replay. I want to call on spirit animals, totem animals, power animals of God's white light that are willing and able to assist in this space. And lastly, I want to call on ancestors of God's white light that are willing and able to assist in this space. So with that, the circle is open. Hi, Brandy. So good to see you. So let's chat about a little bit of the astro. Joe, I'm not sure if you've been on my Facebook Lives before. Feel free to let me know if you're new or if you've been on previous lives. Generally, the structure that I do is I open up a sacred container by clearing and then shielding energy. And then I talk about a little bit of astro, some business updates, and then I go into the cards. So, oh gosh, in terms of astrology, today we had, earlier this morning, like around 6 a.m., so we're technically already past it, we had a new moon in Gemini. So a new moon is when the sun and the moon are in the same sign. So effectively it's a conjunction in astrology, which is when two planets or signs, or two planets come together. Technically the sun and the moon are considered luminaries, though in astrology we don't actually consider them planets. So this is a lot of Gemini energy. So hi there. So you want to look at what part of your chart is Gemini. What house is that? It would be really good for you to know. What, if any, do you have any planets or asteroids in that part of your chart? If you're at all wanting to go deeper with that, I definitely recommend, I'm a certified angel card reader and a professional astrologer, so I definitely would recommend getting a private session with me to learn more about your natal chart. I also do customized moon reports every month, where I go in depth in your natal chart and I talk about how the new and full moon of that month will be affecting you personally. So that's a kind of like a micro astrology offering that could be of interest as well. So yeah, so lots of Gemini vibes. So there is a lot of mutable energy right now, which is a little crazy. So it's kind of like circus energy in a way. But it's also very mercurial, very fast, a lot about communication. So let's talk about, just very briefly, like the strengths and the weaknesses of Gemini energy, since there's so much Gemini energy going on right now. So the strength of Gemini energy is that it is an air sign that is Mercury ruled. So Mercury has rulership with two signs, Gemini and Virgo. Gemini is mercurial air and Virgo is mercurial earth. So the strength is that there's this intellectual ability to go in and to do some fact finding, to do some communication. Yes, definitely, Brandy. So look at your PMP for what I said about Gemini moon transit, and look at your PSP for what I said about Gemini sun transit, and then put them together. And that'll give you a really good picture. Cool, your Jupiter's in Gemini. So your Jupiter lands in my 8th house, Queen, which is the house that's related to transformation. So that might be why sometimes I'm sharing things with you that are kind of cutting in deeper because sometimes there's something that you have to learn there. So that's another way we can use astrology, right? Is understanding when two charts come together, how does that new chart overlay onto the other person's chart, and how do they interact with each other, right? So, and what I find really fascinating is that a lot of the times our intuition is making these calculations without giving it names or variables. It's actually happening like intuitively. You'll be drawn to a particular person for help, and it turns out that their astrology benefits you in some type of way, but you don't really know all that when you're drawn to them. You just are drawn to them, which is why it's so valuable to go in and intuitively and trust our feelings, because they hold a lot of value. And I find a lot of times when I'm looking at astrology, it's actually the flip side. It's like the mathematical, analytical side of what intuition is, but they're also like weirdly related. It's very interesting. So anyway, so strengths of Gemini would be certainly communication, fact-finding. Gemini is also associated with friendship. So this is definitely a good time to be talking to friends, connecting with friends, making new friends. This is also strong networking energy, marketing energy, like digital communications kind of energy with business. When it comes to kind of technology and the internet, that's a bit more Uranus ruled and Aquarian, but Gemini has a bit of that too, but more so in the kind of like day-to-day, the networking or like the social media. The Aquarian or Uranian energy would be more so like a new invention, a new technology. It's sort of like that little bit of Gemini energy, but on a bigger scale. Hi, Amy. I sent you an Instagram message and an email, so definitely check those. And then for those of you in my Fearlessly Fairy group, the first Fearlessly Fairy message did go out last night, and I used the Lenormand deck. So I think that you guys will be really appreciating those. I have been propping those cards up on my altar, and I feel like the Lenormand was really onto something. I'm really interested to see the cards I pulled for us for this week, what's kind of coming. Oh, thank you so much. I so totally needed that today, Queen, and I really received that. Today has been very wonky to me. I've had lots of energy projected onto me, hostile, unnecessarily, and then also I got into a phone conversation with someone where I thought it was going to be really good. Okay, thank you, Amy. And you should have gotten the first message, you and Brandy both. So make sure you check your email inboxes for that. Yes. Yeah, I got into this really weird situation where I entered into this phone conversation with an interview, feeling really good about it from the start, but the deeper and deeper I got into it, it was very like weird communication, and I left feeling actually very wounded. Yeah, today has been very weird, and I think it's so much mutable energy with the double gem. So let's shift a bit to some of the weaknesses, right, or challenges of Gemini energy. So we talked about the strengths, which are in friendship, networking, communication, and fact-finding, to just really boil it down to like super basics, right? And it's also very fast energy because it's Mercury-ruled air, so there's like lots of things happening really, really quickly, constantly, like all the time. Now, the shadow side of Gemini is that Gemini is the twins. So it represents things changing on a dime, or the energy being very, what we would call in astrology, mutable, where it can change. And this is different than Virgo, who is also mercurial ruled, because Virgo is Mercury ruled earth. So their approach to this mercurial energy is through the element of earth, so it's more grounded. Gemini doesn't have access to that level of grounding. So there can be a very ungrounded energy when there's too much Gemini energy. And the way I like to think of it is almost in multiples, right? So for every Gemini planet you have in your chart, that is like a ×2 dose of whatever sign or house energy that is. So because it's a new moon in Gemini, that's the sun in Gemini, so that's 2. And then because it's the moon in Gemini, that's another 2. So today we're working with the energy of almost 4 sides of a story. So you might be talking to someone and you're like on this side, and then all of a sudden it changes on a dime and now you're on this side, and then it changes again and you're here, and then it goes back over here and it's back over here, right? That is definitely a shadow side of Gemini, is that there can be this flip-flopping energy, and when we combine that with the ungroundedness, it can make for a little bit of chaos. The other thing is that sometimes with a lot of Gemini energy, the strength, which is the fact finding, could also become a detriment, because sometimes exploring facts without a foundation behind them or without a container or like a groundedness can not always lead to productive results. So if you've encountered something, I actually encountered this today talking to someone, where it's like you're talking in a circle. You're each of the people, or maybe it's you within your own head, you're talking things out, and it's like there's facts and there's layers. And it's true that these are facts and you're working this through in your mind, but it's like you're actually getting somewhere with it, right? Because Sagittarius, Gemini's opposite, is about that positivity and that faith and that belief system. And I think all of us know that not everything can be explained through facts. You know, sometimes you can't actually factually explain why your intuition says, I want to get out of this situation. Like, it's just a feeling. It's a belief system. It's a faith in your higher self or a higher power that there's something off and I need to just leave, you know? So that is absent in the astrology because of the fact that we have this tipping of the scales into Gemini. Now, Jupiter's in Sagittarius. It's been there all year since the fall of last year. So we do have that Sagittarian energy that's there, and there is a little bit of a battle going on, but definitely Gemini's kind of winning out because the sun and the moon are there. So this is just some things to think about. If you're feeling ungrounded, or you're feeling like you are going into situations and you're talking to people but you're not really getting anywhere, or you're like pursuing a lot of information but you feel like you're not happy, that is a clue for you to pull it back, to get grounded, and to maybe bring in some other elements besides air. So maybe talking about it or overthinking about it isn't the path, the solution. Maybe the path or solution is to have a cup of tea. You know, for me, I've been working a lot with the element of fire, which would be associated with Sagittarius, right? And that's been helping me a lot to transform the energy, to use alchemy, right? Working with even like getting in the sun, you know, that's again the element of like solar energy and fire. So just kind of little hacks to try to balance out the energy, and you'll know that you've gone too far with the energy if you're feeling very ungrounded and you're feeling like confused and chaotic. Then you're too much in that energy of the air element, and you need to pull it back. You need to bring in the fire element, or perhaps the earth element, or the water element, right? So take a shower, take a bath, anoint with some sacred oils, you know, or perfumes or essential oils, whatever you'd like. Thank you, Brandy. Yeah, so, and like I said, today was the day that it was exact, very early this morning, but we'll be continuing to integrate this through this week. It certainly picked up last week. Then we have a full moon coming up in Sagittarius in 2 weeks, and that'll be the complete flip side of this. So, of course, the energy is always shifting and changing all the time. Nothing lasts forever, and astrology really teaches us that. So use this energy for what it is, which is sharp intellect of the mind, but also remember the caution, which is that it can cause too much ungroundedness, and that can make you feel really depleted if you're too much in the air element. With double gem energy today, it's pretty easy to get into that situation. So I need to get a water bottle. I'll be back really quick. You're so welcome, Brandy. All right, so business updates. We are at the beginning of June, but if you're interested in my customized moon reports, you can still reach out for that. You're welcome to message my inbox to this page, or you can email me at julieannfaye@gmail.com. Of course, I'm always available for private card readings and professional astrology readings. I also want to do a plug for the Fearlessly Fairy group. So in order to keep that group sustainable and keeping going, I need more members. So if you yourself are interested in this, or you know someone who might be interested, please spread the word. It's a wonderful group. There's a private Facebook group associated with it. You get access to a 20% off discount on any private readings with me for card readings. It's called Fearlessly Fairy, and you get a message delivered to your inbox every week which gives you guidance and advice for that week. And sometimes I work in a little bit of astrology, but it's mostly based on a card pull. Thank you, Brandy. And there's also a reflection document I write, which gives you the opportunity to practice self-reflection and do journaling month to month, and you have access to that as well. So that's a great opportunity if you're interested in going deeper with card pulls at a really low cost. It's only $20 a month, and it's month to month. You can cancel anytime. And that I collect that payment through PayPal. So if you're interested in that, let me know, send me a message or an email, and that is a good way to go for that. All right, so tonight I felt called to use Sandra Ann Taylor's Energy Oracle cards and magical messages from the fairies. So let's get into it. I'm going to do a couple single card pulls, what you need to know for people, and then I'm going to transition to the sign by sign messages for the week. So going through each zodiac sign, what does that sign need to know for this week? So if you would like a single general card pull, go ahead and leave a message in the chat and let me know. I also just had a download as I was shuffling the cards, just about Gemini being my 8th house and how when I'm thinking or communicating, I'm able to access really deep information that sometimes I think can make people, it can take them off guard, or it can make them feel uncomfortable if they're not ready to receive that, it gives me this, and also my Pluto being very close to my Essene, it gives me this ability to perceive into situations very clearly, very deeply, really fast, and how sometimes that can be a shock or a jolt to people. So that was just a download I had, thinking about a scenario that happened today. It's interesting. The more that you know yourself, the more that you can love yourself. I really do feel that. And for me, I feel like astrology is that. It really just continues to be a birthing process of understanding myself and other people. So it's one of the reasons why I love it so much. All right, so yes, Amy and Brandy, you guys got it, or you ladies got it. So let's do one card from each for both of you, since you're my Fearlessly Fairy members. So what does Amy need to know right now? Okay, so for you, Amy, we have, also let me preface, usually the first cards I pull are a nice general reading for all of us because it sets the tone. It's part of the collective energy. So Joe, I actually don't do specific messages on my lives. I save that for private readings, but I will definitely pull a general message for you. So for Amy, we have goodbye to the old, hello to the new. And again, this I feel is a strong message for the collective because it's the first cards I'm pulling. It says you finish one part of your life and now a new and even better part is beginning. And then we have woman holding a coin. Woman holding a coin, and this is number 42, which is related to, in numerology, a 6, which is related to material possessions and financial, but also material. I'm not as familiar with 6, to be honest, as I am with some of the other numerological numbers, but I know that it is related to material possessions. So the way that I would interpret this, Amy, is that you and also the collective, we're closing one cycle and we're starting another. So be mindful for women in your life that could be presenting some type of value, that could be offering valuable advice or a valuable opportunity. Be mindful and be open and receptive to these women coming in that could do that for you, as well as yourself. What within yourself and your divine feminine energy has something of value that's wanting to be birthed, right? Is it a book that you're wanting to create or some type of project you're wanting to bring into physical form? These cards are saying that there's value there for you to look at, but this can also be an external person, like a woman, that is coming in, that is offering something of value. But either way, there's definitely an ending associated with this as well as a new beginning, and to be mindful about female energy coming in presenting value. So that is a really good one. All right, Brandy. What does Brandy need to know right now? All right, so for Brandy, we have debt paid off. The old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you and your life. So I definitely see this as like a lifting up of the energy, a weight being lifted, things will be looking up. And then we also have strategy, number 21. Also, Amy, I was getting the urge to tell you to combine these messages with the messages for the first week of Fearlessly Fairy messages. I feel for some reason I'm being called to share that. So combine the message in the first FF email with this message. And that was something that was just coming through really strongly. So for you, Brandy, we have strategy and then debt paid off. So this is telling me that in order to raise up and to just release ourselves from some of these burdens, we need to also come up with a plan, right? We need to be strategic. We need to maybe practice, like we were talking about this earlier, list making and allowing ourselves to come up with a plan and a strategy and to follow it so that we can continue to raise higher and higher and let go of these things which are weighing us down. I know I definitely can relate to these as well. And if you're not quite sure what's going to help you fulfill that plan, maybe you don't know what it looks or feels like yet, you can journal about it generally. My perfect work looks like ... My perfect job looks like ... My perfect new home looks like ... My perfect relationship looks like ... My perfect new car looks like ... Right? So talk to the universe. Start almost like creating the strategy with the universe before it's here, and that will help you as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple more general card pulls, and then I'm going to transition to the sign by signs for the week. So for the rest of you guys, I'm going to do just one card. I did 2 cards for my Fearlessly Fairy members, which if you don't know what that is, go back and watch this from the beginning. Also, I would recommend going back and watching this from the beginning because I spent a fair amount of time talking about the new moon in Gemini and the strengths and weaknesses of that, and it's really worth listening to go back. So when this ends, you can go back and rewatch from the beginning there. Okay, so Joe Martin. Okay, what does Joe need to know right now? Whew, a lot of cards want to come out. You're welcome, Brandy. Okay, so for you, Joe, we have reversed envy. So this card in the upright position is not always like the best card, but because we've got it reversed, that's a good sign. So this is card number 20, which is related to partnerships and duality. This could be related to even like relationship energy. This is the card that's saying that you are struggling with what you currently have and what you believe that other people have. You're feeling like, now this was, because it's reversed, you've done some healing with this. That's what that's saying. But I need to talk about what it is before I talk about what it's not, if that makes sense. So what it is basically saying that you're looking externally for things to validate and support you, or maybe you're comparing yourself to others. Maybe you're looking at other people that are in relationships or partnerships or marriage or have other things that you want to have, and you're feeling like, I would be happy if I had that, or I would be happy if I, could do this or had this person in my life, or, I want my life to feel like this or look like this, but this person and I don't have that. So you're doing a lot of comparing to other people and what they have, but because this is in the reverse position, it's telling me that you've done some work on this and you're now starting to practice being present here and now, loving yourself and loving what you have right now, and being more comfortable with yourself and what you have right now. So this card is encouragement to keep doing that, to just keep bringing yourself back to the present moment. When you catch yourself going into like that envy or that jealousy or that comparing mode, to dial it back to the present moment. And we're all capable of this. I myself do this a lot, so it's just catching yourself though. A lot of the time, the healing that we need to do in our lives has to be daily routines. It's great to have somebody, like have a Reiki session and have somebody send you Reiki, but that's not going to change. That Reiki practitioner is not with you all those other, 23 hours of the day, 6 or whatever the math would be, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, minus 1 hour. That's a lot of other time that you're not with that healing practitioner, that you yourself have to be modulating yourself and watching your thoughts. So that's what that's about. So it looks like I have just 2 people on. If you're still on, leave a comment and let me know if you're interested in a single card pull, because I don't know which 2 people those are, if it's Brandy and Amy, who I know I already pulled for. If not, I'm going to move on to the sign by signs for the week. But I think we had some really powerful messages come through. You're welcome. Hello. Hello. All right, so let's fun. Okay, so let's transition into the sign by sign card pulls for the week. So I'm going to go through each zodiac sign, and I want you to pay attention to your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. Also, if you know what sign is your first house, pay attention to that as well. So I'm going to use the messages from the fairies for this. So let's go ahead and pull from that for Aries. Aries, Aries, Aries. What does Aries need to know right now? Ooh, came out super fast. Spring. So this is great because we're in springtime right now in the Northern Hemisphere. And it says your desires fully manifest as the flowers begin to bloom. So it's like things will look up. Things are looking up. You could see the butterfly there and the light coming in, and like that little child is looking at it. So it's like these new beginnings, this light coming in, this energy, it's beginning to blossom. So focus on what's blossoming and stay in the light is actually the message I'm hearing. And that's for Aries for this week. All of a sudden, lots of throat chakra clearing going on here. I've actually picked up the habit of buying a case of waters, a 24-pack of waters, and I only drink that water. And I also give Monty that water in his water bowl, because a lot of our tap water has fluoride in it, which is not good for our pineal gland, right, which is related to the third eye and the clairvoyance. So that is one quick fix you can make in your life. I will ask, though, please, if you're buying bottled water, make sure you're recycling them. I recycle every single bottle that I use. There's definitely ways for you to also get spring water. You can get it delivered to your house in like big jugs, or like Whole Foods. Some Whole Foods have the ability for you to go and fill up the jugs. I don't really have access to that where I'm at. So for me, the solution is to buy, a 24-pack of waters. And a lot of times a 24-pack of waters is pretty inexpensive. So it's worth it. Whatever it is, it's worth it, because you are helping yourself to not drink water that is contaminated with additives, that they put, because that water from the tap has to go through an entirely different system, right, than the spring water you would buy from bottled water. So just something interesting to think about. Okay. Taurus, what does Taurus need to know for this week? Also, sometimes there are natural springs. Good. That's really good, Brandy. Yeah. So definitely keep that up. And, when I'm like cooking, like let's say if I'm boiling pasta or something, I would use tap water for that. But if I'm actually drinking the water, or even if I'm making a tea, I actually will put the bottled water into my tea kettle. But I just try and make a habit of using that bottled water as much as I can. And you'd be surprised, like a 24-pack of water is actually, me and Monty, it works. I probably go through one 24-pack a week just with me and Monty. So it's also a good way to moderate how much water you're drinking, which is a really good thing for your health as well. Okay, Taurus, what does Taurus need to know for this week? All right, love it. Perfect timing. This is the right time for you to move forward. So I love this card so much. So it's saying for Taurus energy, or if you're sun, moon, rising, or wherever you have Taurus in your chart, this is a good time for you to move forward with that person, project, thing. I also want to note that Venus is now in Taurus, or it has been in Taurus. It's about halfway through. So There's a lot of energy too with that Venus placement around determining what's of value and figuring out, is this worth it? Is this of value to me? Is this a good relationship or project for me to get on board with? There's a lot of that energy going on. And for me, that Venus transit is moving through my 7th house, my relationship house. So that's pretty good. All right, Gemini. Gemini. What does Gemini need to know for this week? We have love life. The basis of your question involves your romantic life, which is now changing for the better. But what I'm getting from this card actually is a lot of just playful inner child energy, flirtation energy. This could also even be friendship energy or new partnership energy. But just definitely a cue for Gemini for this week, Sun, Moon, Rising, to really look at how you can lighten up a little bit and be more playful and more lighthearted as you're approaching these new relationships. That's what I'm getting for that. Cancer. What does Cancer need to know for this week? We have spiritual teacher. Let's actually pull a clarification card for Cancer, because that card is always an interesting one. What does Cancer need to know for this week? Too many. Cancer. Okay. Ooh, that's good. So for Cancer this week, we have door to value. This is about new abundance coming in. And we have spiritual teacher. So what I'm getting for this Cancer is that there might be new financial opportunities coming in for you, in which you get to step up and be the type of leader that you want to be. Maybe it's coming from a very heart-centered place. It doesn't have to necessarily mean that you are a spiritual teacher or have a spiritual business. It could just be that it's something that really resonates with you. It's something that you love. It's something that you feel like you can be the best version of yourself in. So be on the lookout for these new situations and partnerships coming in that could be really in alignment with who you are, Cancer, this week. Leo. What does Leo need to know for this week? We have new career. So many good cards. Your work focus is shifting in a positive, new, and successful direction. So this is, again, a very opening up card. What I like about this card is that the seas are parting. So it's like some of the emotions are moving away and this angel's arms are lifted up. So it's like good things happening. The energy is moving and lifting up, which is kind of a recurring theme through this live, by the way. You're welcome, Morvian. You're welcome. Even as I'm looking at like the messages across the board, we really have a lot of positive messages here. So that's good. Virgo. What does Virgo need to know for this week? Children. Your connection with children is part of your life's purpose. I have a love-hate relationship with this card because I pull it a lot. And I'm a former teacher. I used to teach high school kids. So it's just interesting whenever I pull this card because I'm just like, what are you trying to tell me? But for me, I relate to being a teacher and an educator in a different way now and feel like I'm meant to help kids beyond the classroom, but that's like another story. But either way, this could also be about connecting with your inner child for Virgo this week. It's just bringing in more of that lighthearted energy and that playful energy, feeling good. What I'm just so drawn to like the little girl and how happy she is. So asking yourself, like, is this inner child approved? You know, would my inner child approve of this? Is this something I feel like I could be fun and playful and creative within or doing? Those are the questions you want to ask yourself. So really cute card there for Virgo. And then Libra. What does Libra need to know for this week? We have holiday. The answer you're looking for can be found during a vacation, retreat, or getaway. So sometimes the best thing you can do when you're too focused on a problem is to just kind of break away and to really surrender and release the problem. So this could also be taking a trip to like a lake or ocean or body of water to just kind of detox emotions and let go. This could be like having a friend date or a play date or bringing in something that's just really playful and is very unattached to outcomes of work. That could be really good for that, for you guys, Libra, for this week. Sun, Moon, Rising. Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know for this week? Scorpio. Love this one. This is my favorite card in the deck. And I have Scorpio as my first house. I'm a Virgo with a Libra moon and a Libra rising, but my first house is Scorpio. And I love this card so much. Everything's okay. It's saying, don't worry, everything's working out fine. So this is just the reassurance from the universe that everything's on its path, everything's on track. Don't worry. Release the fear and the worries. It's going to be okay. All right, Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for this week? We have dietary change. So Sagittarius, are you, Sag, Sun, Moon, Rising, are you overindulging lately? Is there something that maybe you need to cut back on? I'm hearing caffeine and chocolate. So being mindful of things that you could cut back on. I also want to share another helpful trick to utilize my lives is to actually replay the live. By the way, after I do a Facebook Live, within about 24 hours roughly, if not the same night, I download these and I re-upload them to my YouTube channel. So you're welcome to subscribe to me on my YouTube channel. It should be linked in the description of this video. And what I do is I play them in the background and I ask my angels to help me tune in to the messages I most need to hear. So even if I'm like doing a card pull for somebody else in the live, or if I'm pulling for like another Zodiac sign, I just run it in the background and then my intuition will tell me when to tune in and listen to a particular message. And you can do that with anybody's live. But that's a really fun way to also soothe yourself with readings. All right, so where was I at? Sagittarius, Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know for this week? We have Easy Does It. Thank you so much. Brandy is sharing my YouTube channel link there. So you guys can click that and you can go there when this is done and you can subscribe to my channel. So we have Easy Does It. So it's like, stop trying so hard to make everything work and it will work out for you. This is another kind of like, it's okay card, surrender. Again, we have an angel who is basically lifting themselves out of the water. So lifting themselves out of emotion and rising up into the sky. And we have these dolphins here, which are a spirit animal associated with playfulness and being lighthearted, which is another recurring theme that's coming through this live. Where am I at? Capricorn, Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know for this week? For Aquarius, we have autumn. In the fall season, this is saying you reap harvests of abundance and things really come together. So for Aquarians, seeing more abundance coming in for you guys. I'm really getting the sense of like moving or transitions or changes maybe related to the home environment. So I feel like things really improving for Aquarians. And that's something that you need to know for this week. It's kind of funny. And then Pisces, what does Pisces need to know for this week? Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. We have summer. Everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime. So really encouraging and supporting you that things will pick up more speed and more momentum in the summertime. This is Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. So to just be mindful of that. And we're not in summer yet. We're still in spring. But we have a summer solstice coming up in roughly 3 weeks. So we'll be moving into the summer season soon enough. You know, not quite there yet, but we'll be on its way. And let's do an overall message for the collective. So what does the collective need to see, hear, feel, and understand for this week? Oh, beautiful card. Archangel Ariel, Angel of Strength. So no matter what's going on for you guys, whether it's chaotic and ungrounded, like I was talking about at the beginning, definitely if you jumped on later, do go back when this ends and listen from the beginning when I talk about the sun and moon in Gemini, the new moon in Gemini and all of the things. If things are kind of like chaotic and ungrounded, or you're feeling stressed or frustrated that you need change to happen, you need things to happen, it's not happening fast enough, the best thing you can do is just hold strong to who you are and what you want and what your desires are, and really believe in yourself, believe that you have the strength to make it through these challenges, you know. Also call on your angels for strength. Call on Archangel Ariel, who is sort of like the female equivalent of Archangel Michael. She's also associated with manifestation, abundance, and animals. You can call on her for support with taking care of your pets and children. Archangel Michael, you know, call on whichever ascended masters you work with. For me, I really work a lot with Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, Isis. You can also work with the Hindu deities like Ganesha, who's the remover of obstacles. There's Parvati and Saraswati, you'll see them oftentimes sitting side by side with Ganesha. So there are so many wonderful beings of love and light on the other side that are willing to help you if you can only call on them. So please, please utilize the power of your mind and your voice to invoke the presence and the help of your angels. It goes a long way. And you can do that through spoken word or written prayer, but don't neglect asking for that help because it's super, super important and valuable. So I think that about wraps this up. And let's close the circle. So I'm clearing any and all negative energy from my auric field, from the room, and from my dwelling. And I'm thanking all of the guides, guardians, archangels, and ascended masters that were present and willing to assist in this space. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for anybody watching this that caught me live. Right, Brandy? That caught me live or is watching this on replay. Please feel free to share this video. You're welcome to tag friends in the comments that you think would benefit from watching this video. And feel free to, if you feel called, my PayPal is also in the description. You're welcome to leave a donation. But even just sharing this video, sharing about my work, sharing about the Fearlessly Fairy group would be of great value to me. I'm looking to really build up the membership on my Fearlessly Fairy group, and the best way to do that is a lot of times word of mouth is a really powerful way to spread the message. So thanks everyone. Have a good night. Sending you guys fairy kisses and new moon blessings. Bye.